What is up, everyone? This is Big Zess here, and we are back with another Star Citizen video. We are now currently in the 4.8 update. It's been a little while. It took me a little while to actually start a video because 4.8 has been an absolute mess, to say the least. If you guys are currently playing the game right now, you know exactly what it is that I'm talking about. For those who are not currently familiar with Star Citizen, um, this is a great time to check things out. I mean, up to interpretation. We'll talk about a little bit about the issues that are going on in 4.8 right now, but there is a free fly event currently live where you can play the game for free if you've never played it before. It's going on, I think, between the 19th or the 18th of May until the 27th. So you have a little bit of time to go ahead and jump into the game, check things out for yourself. You can jump down to Area 18, rent a couple of ships, like the ship that I have behind me right now. But right now, I believe at the time of me making this video, the Aegis Tiburon has been released, and all the Aegis ships are currently available to be rented. But nonetheless, during this 4.8 update, as many of you may know or may not know, not only was there an overhaul with a lot of different systems that came into the game with more content, but there was a content wipe, or a character wipe, I should say. So everyone has had to start from basically ground zero once again. So all the ships that I used to own, all the AUEC that I used to have, the economy has been reset. Everyone has had to start from pretty much ground zero again and try to make their way or work their way to buy the ships back or get the materials back that they used to have. So with that, I've been doing some of the most reliable content in the game right now, and I really do mean reliable, because there's a lot of missions that are just buggy right now. But the most reliable content that I've been engaging with has been hauling contracts and utilizing this ship that I have behind me, the Starlancer Max, has been a great ship to use to complete most of those contracts. Again, I was able to rent this ship a couple days ago, along with many others, during this DefenseCon event. It is no longer available, but we're going to go ahead and take a look at the Starlancer Max. This is kind of one of those hauling ships that might be a bit overlooked, but we'll take a look at it. So with the Starlancer Max, if you were to buy this yourself with AUEC in-game, it is pretty affordable. It's only 8.2 million AUEC, I believe. And so a little over 8 million AUEC. We have lots of different weapon hard mount points. So we have 4 size 4 guns mounted on each of the sides of the ship here. And they are stock M6A cannons, which is actually really good, which again, we're going to talk in a lot more detail about all the different changes that came with 4.8 regarding insurance and loadouts and the way that you claim ships. Now, there's so many things that have changed. So wanting to ensure that you consider the default loadout of a ship is very important, because claiming a ship nowadays actually costs money. In particular, it costs money to claim an insured loadout. So if you want to upgrade your ships, if you want to change the components, it's going to cost you extra to claim the ship with those particular components if you lose it. But claiming a default loadout is always free. Okay. So that is the only armament that we have on the front of the ship. As you can see there on the top, we have a turret that's front facing, a remote turret. And then on the back of the ship, I believe there's another turret I can get an angle. Let's see. Yeah, there's another turret on the back of the ship there that you can see. Also, believe size 4 guns stock are the Rhino repeaters. Okay. And this ship has three really, entrances and 4 exits. So this is one of them. You have the cargo bay, which opens up in the back. We'll get to that in a moment. There is another cargo bay here in the middle of the ship, which you can open here. Drops down. Okay. And in total, you can lay down 64 SCUs worth of cargo on each side. And it only goes 2 high. So quite a bit of cargo that you can lay down in the middle here. And then the next entrance that we have is the elevator that goes all the way down and goes all the way up to the various floors in the ship. So those are all of your entrances, all the weapons. We're going to take a look at the entrance through the ramp and then make our way through the ship as we continue on our tour here. All right. So with the 4.8 update, we are still currently dealing with the lighting issues on the interiors of ships, unfortunately. But here in the cargo bay of the Starlancer Max, as you can see, we have a very spacious cargo bay where you can fit certain ground vehicles like the MTC and Ursa, things of that nature. The height clearance is a bit something that you have to look out for. You have to make sure, especially with the MTC and the Ursa, that the weapons are disabled. So that way they are flat or either on the side. So that way you have enough clearance to get the vehicles in. But once they are, you have no issue backing these things in. And once again, you have quite a bit of space here to place your vehicles in. So yeah, as you can see here with this line that is on the floor here, we have a cargo grid that is actually on the sides, tucked away here. We can stack a total of 48 SCU on each side, altogether 96 SCU that is available. You can stack it 3 high. So you can do on the first layer, you can do about 32 SCU. And then there's a third layer that you can stack on top. That will be in total 16. So altogether 48 for each side, total of 96 in this cargo bay. But again, as you can see, I mean, you can remove the vehicle if you like, and you can stack as much as you want back here. That will fit. That'll be off the grid. But what I really do like about the Starlancer Max is that the cargo grid is separate from most of the cargo bay. So you can still haul cargo and a fleet of vehicles if you choose. It's nice that they're separated from one another. And as we already saw, we have this extra bay here. This is only 2 high, but you can stack 64 SCU's worth of cargo on each side. So you have a total of 128 SCU plus the 96 SCU in the cargo bay here gives you a grand total of 224 SCU of cargo available. And with the vehicle bay completely empty, you can push that to be well over 300 SCU if you so choose. As we continue to move on here, we come more to the front of the ship. We have our 4th exit. This is not an entrance unless you're on a moon planet where you can potentially try to bounce back up, but I don't think I was very successful in doing so. No, it's just too high. So that'll be your 4th exit for the ship. be the airlock. And then you can enter the ship once again through the middle elevator here. Okay. It's one of the most convenient exits for the ship. Up here we have weapons lockers, and we also have suit lockers, total of 4. These weapon lockers do hold regular weapons or multi-tools. I believe we might be able to place multi-tools here as well. No, we cannot, unfortunately. Okay, so only handguns and regular long guns. We can stash here. We have a total of 4 long guns and 6 handguns. Okay, and then 4 suit lockers that unfortunately are not functional in 4.8. They did add some suit changes, which we'll talk about a little bit later as well, as we go upstairs and start to fly. We do have also a bench, a little seating area for 2 here. It's nice. Okay. And we have elevators to go up into the second deck of the ship. We also have a ladder here for potentially quicker access to go up to the second deck of the ship. There's also elevators in the cargo hold, 2 of them, 1 on each side, 1 here and 1 here. We're going to take this one to go up to the next level in the ship. This will take us to the engineering deck. We're going to start from the back and work our way forward. So back here, we have the engineering room where we have all of our components, which are physicalized. Here we have the quantum drive. Here we should have coolers. And here we have a shield generator, size 3. So really good shield capacity in the ship. Over here, we should have a battery, so this should actually be empty. Yeah, they're not physicalized in the game yet. And over here, we have our power plants. Okay. So pretty much all of the components are going to be, or most of the components are going to be located in here at the back of the ship, along with your engineering terminal, where you can control all the doors and the weapons, the standard things that you can control using the control panel. Fire extinguisher here, just in case you need it. In the middle here, we have a assortment of habitation quarters here. So we have 4 different habitation units. All of them are pretty much the same. You have storage up here, a little desk that you can sit at, a fridge you to place some drinks into, and then a bed with space for 2. Okay. Everyone gets their own personal bathroom where the mirror actually works. So that's really nice. And the storage, I believe you get, well over 1 SCU's worth of internal storage there. So once again, there's 4 habitations in total. So this is number 4. Move over here. This is number 3. They're all the same. We have number 1 over here, and then number 2 should be on this side over here. Okay. Every single one is all the same. There is no special captain's quarters in this ship. Here we have the fun place of the Starlancer Max. We have the lounge area with a pool table, a nice little bench seat area for 4. You can seat 4 here. Awesome kitchen area. Okay, and some bar stools. So you can seat in total 8 in here and have some friends playing some pool or cracking some jokes, having some drinks. This is a great little lounge area in this spot in the ship. You have a fire extinguisher here as well. Really great. Here is the access to that other elevator that was below where you had the suit lockers and the weapons locker. Here we have life support and the gravity generator. Life support is physicalized. The gravity generator is not. And then we have that ladder access as well to go down to the first level. And here we have escape pods, 4 in total. They still are not functional in the game. And finally, we have the bridge where we have access to 2 of the 2 remote turrets. I believe this one goes to the one on the front. We will see in a moment. So here we can press power on, power off, and enter the remote turret. We can also open and close this blast door. Give us a little bit of a view on the outside if you wanted to. We're going to go ahead and enter that remote turret. So this one is on the back of the ship. Okay. And I believe it's currently powered off. Yeah, currently powered off. And so this one will be the one on the front. And here we have the computer, but like most other ships that don't have physicalized computers, I just use it for trash. And here we have the radar, the relay, and that will be all the components on the ship. And the co-pilot seat here, I don't believe we have any special access here. So let's see, we have an exit button, power off, and yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't believe you're allowed to fly the ship. No, you're not. So the co-pilot seat in this ship is just useless. So if you want to help your friends out on a gun or help the pilot out, take one of the gunner seats in the back there. And then here in the pilot seat, we have an exit button, power on, and engine on. And that's pretty much it. We don't even have a... actually, I think we do. We just have to take off here. Yes, we do have a retract landing gear. But we do not have a open and close exterior, unfortunately. So only 4 buttons here. You will have to assign a keybind to actually close the exterior to be able to close certain things. Okay, it's glitched. Well, anyway, the in SCM mode and nav mode, both, the downside of this ship is that it is slow. Okay, every MISC ship, which is probably the reason why I rarely ever fly MISC, is that they are painstakingly slow ships. And I don't mean slow as in top speed. It's understandable if you have a SCM speed of only 160. And then in nav mode, I believe it goes all the way up to almost 1,990. But I mean slow in the sense of acceleration. This thing takes ages to get up to top speed. I'm fully boosting right now, and we are on a moon, so the gravity is low. And this is taking ages to get up to speed. We use all of our afterburners, and we're still not at top speed. Okay. We're finally getting up there. All right, 990. Finally. Yeah, this thing takes forever. Okay. And if you're trying to break out of the atmosphere from planets that have much tougher gravity, like Crusader or Microtech or anything of that nature, where the atmosphere is just very, really tough, again, this ship takes ages. The new Ironclad has better acceleration than this thing. The new Tiburon has better acceleration than this thing. The Caterpillar has better acceleration than this thing. This is literally one of the slowest ships I have ever flown. However, once again, especially with someone like myself who doesn't have a bunch of ships attached to my account, and again, with this financial wipe, beggars can't be choosers. This was one of the best ships that I was able to rent for free using the event, and I've taken a liking to it. As you also can see here, we have 50 SCUs worth of hydrogen fuel and a whopping 3.6 SCUs worth of quantum fuel, which is a really respectable amount. So now that we've finished with the tour of the Starlancer Max, we're going to talk a little bit about its stock configuration, a bit of the changes that have happened within 4.8. We're going to go ahead and take a look at the performance viewer to break down some of these differences. So I have the performance viewer pulled up here, and as you can see, the Starlancer Max is a medium freight hauler. You can get it at New Deal for about a little over 8 million AUC, a little more, around almost 9 million at 8.8 million AUC at Astro Armada Area 18. So go ahead and go to Lowerville if you want to pick the ship up. Its stock configuration, as you can see here, we have the M6A cannons stock. We have the Rhino repeaters stock, Thunderbolt missile stock, which is actually really good. We have a Stronghold industrial grade C shield, Absolute Zero grade coolers, and a Surveyor industrial grade radar. Not the best setup. Lumacore or LuxCore competition grade A power plants, which is actually pretty good, pretty decent. Could be better, but they do give you the maximum power output. So not too mad about that. What is very disappointing, which really goes along with the theme of this ship, is that we get the Sparkfire competition grade C quantum drive, which gives you an abysmal, uh, an abysmal, truly abysmal, um, quantum drive jump speed of only 171 kilometers per second. To put this into perspective, this is even slower than the slowest quantum drive that for size 1, which is the Vulcan quantum drive, or one of the slowest. At least with that quantum drive, you can go almost 180 kilometers per second. So not only is the top speed or the nav speed, the SCM speed, even the jump speed for this thing is extremely slow stock. It was so painfully slow that the only thing that I changed on this ship, because once again, it's rented, which is also a change that they've done with this 4.8 patch. You can actually customize rented ships now, which is great. All you have to do is change it just like any other ship. Once it's in your inventory or once it's stored at whatever place that you are storing it at, as long as you have the components in your inventory, you can go ahead and swap it. And once you do swap those components, you need to ensure that you save your loadout or you insure your loadout. And I'll show you what that looks like here in a moment. All right, I've landed in a hangar here at Seraphim Station, and I'm going to show you guys the new ASOP terminal. As you can see here, we have, with the new fleet manager, we can show local ships. We have this new button here. We also have a capacity level, so we can't just store a bunch of ships anymore. Each station has a capacity of about 25 different ships. So if you want to show the ships that you have stored at the station that you're currently at, you press the show local ships button and you get these options here. So with these options here, you have this new scrap button. The scrap button is not going to get rid of your ship, or at least not entirely. This does not mean that you get rid of your ship completely. The scrap button basically makes it to where your ship gets destroyed. So similar to if it got blown up, you crashed into something, it got lost, whatever it may be. If you still own the ship or if you rented the ship, you can still claim it. And you can claim it in two different ways. You can either claim it using the default loadout, which we'll see here in a moment, or you can claim an insured loadout. Okay? And now that I have my ship stored here, you guys can also see, this is the only ship I have stored here, which is the Starlancer Max. We can also, like I said earlier, we can modify this ship if we wanted to. I can take the power plant off, put it back on, right? You can save the loadout, and however you like to modify the ship, whether you own it or you don't, you go back to your ASOP terminal here. You select the ship that you're wanting to save. Okay. You're going to press the insure loadout button. What this is going to do, it's going to give you a complete list of all the different components that you have customized. So we have our coolers. These are everything that's on here is pretty much stock except for the quantum drive, like I was talking about a little bit earlier. Okay. So we have here the Hurricane drive. When you press this insure button, it's going to save this loadout. All right. The cost to claim this saved loadout, well, the only thing that I changed was the quantum drive. It's going to cost me almost 30,000 AUEC every time that I want to claim the ship with this particular loadout. Right. It's not going to cost me this amount of money just to press this insure button. This is only going to cost me this amount of money when the ship gets destroyed and I want to get the ship back. Okay. So that's what we're going to do right now. We're going to go ahead and scrap the ship. Okay. So now there's no ship stored here at all. So we're going to go back down to the Starlancer Max. We're going to press the claim button. And when we want to claim the ship, we have two different options. We can claim the default loadout, which is free. The default loadout is just like you buy it from the shop. Okay. It's going to come with the really crappy quantum drive and everything else. All right. Or we can claim the insured loadout, which we can preview the items here. Right. You see that upgraded quantum drive there. It's going to cost me almost 30,000 AUEC. Just so you guys can see how this works, I'm going to claim a default loadout. All right. And we can look at the configuration of the default loadout that we just claimed. Look at the systems. We can see here the quantum drive is the Sparkfire. Okay. That's the default loadout. It's the default ship. Okay. You guys can also see that it was instant. I didn't have to wait for it to show up into my inventory either. Everything is instant now, pretty much. So let's go back to local ships, scrap. Okay. We're going to go back down to here. We're going to select claim. Okay. Now we're going to have to wait 22 minutes to claim a default loadout again, or we can go ahead and claim the insured loadout, pay the 29K. It's already in our hangar. All right. We can go ahead and look at our inventory here again, and we should see the Huracan drive. There we go. So we have our insured custom loadout ship, and it cost us 30K to claim. Okay, so you guys saw how you need to insure your loadout on the ASOP terminal. This is the only uh, component that I swapped out, or that what I would recommend that you swap out. And I would recommend that you either choose the Chimera drive, which gives you the maximum distance of 327 kilometers, or gigameters rather, or you can swap it for the Huracan drive that gives you a much faster speed and reduces your overall maximum distance slightly by almost 50 GMs. With such a sizable quantum fuel pool, the Huracan, it's a decent pick. It gives you a bit more speed, especially since we're going to be using this ship specifically what it's designed for, which is hauling. And as long as you can get to your destination, wherever it is that you need to go, uh, especially these missions that I've been doing, which is these interstellar hauling missions where we're jumping from star system to star system, having the fastest quantum drive available has been very helpful. So I selected the Huracan drive. That allows me to travel at the fastest speed and still get to where it is that I need to go. Um, the lack of about 40-ish uh, gigameters hasn't been much of an issue. So, more changes that 4.8 has brought into the game is they once again have revamped not only the armor and shields and health pool of shields, they also revamped weapons. So every single weapon now, a ship weapon, has been revamped. Attritions, all the different laser repeaters, whether it's the animal repeaters, rhinos, badgers, panthers, all of them, they pretty much all go the same speed now as far as velocity is concerned, which is around 1400 meters per second. And the attritions specifically, they had to be rebalanced quite significantly, where their damage output was uh, pretty much cut in half or more than half to accommodate for the change in projectile velocity. And with that change, the meta has also shifted because not only were the weapons changed, the armor for certain ships was drastically changed to where now the most large ships, including the Starlancer Max, along with many others, have had their armor deflection rating ridiculously increased by a lot of them over 300%. So most large ships now sit within this damage deflection threshold of 300 plus. So we have a physical damage deflection threshold of 315 and an energy damage deflection threshold of 360. So what that means is that every single repeater of any type, we're talking even all the way up to the Inferno, the Ares Inferno Gatling gun, the size 7 Gatling gun. Even the size 7 Gatling gun from the Ares Inferno cannot damage the Starlancer Max with its alpha at 292. If you want to do any type of damage to the armor of very large ships, you have to come with really big guns, not just in size, but in caliber. So you're talking about cannons now. Cannons are now the new meta, especially if you want to take on large ships. I went ahead and swapped over to the Urkel website here just because it's a lot easier to check the deflection values using this deflection check button. Just a lot more intuitive versus the performance check viewer. So, as you can see here, we can see all of the different weapons that are deflected by the Starlancer Max, along with all the ones that can still get through. And the common theme here, let's go to laser repeaters. Uh, to sum it up, there is no laser repeater that can get through. I know it shows here an attrition 6, but the attrition 6 basically doesn't really exist. There are no ships that can be equipped with an attrition 6. So um, every single repeater for every single laser repeater, that is deflected by the Starlancer Max. Okay. We can go to Gatling, ballistic Gatling. Every single ballistic Gatling, even the size 7 ballistic Gatling, like I just said, is deflected by the Starlancer Max. We can go to laser Gatling. There's only one, and that's blocked. We can go to ballistic repeater. All of them are blocked. Okay. If you want to damage big ships now in 4.8, you have to use cannons. So now we go to ballistic cannons. Okay. All the small cannons, so deadbolt 2s, deadbolt 1s, sledge mass driver 1s, okay, broadswords, all that, it's not going to get through. You have to have size 3 deadbolts or size 2 sledge mass drivers in order to get through. So we're talking size 3 and up for the ballistics. And then when we go to the laser cannons, similar scenario. We need to have size 3, so size 3 M5As, and then everything else is So size 3 M5A is the smallest, and then for everything else, it needs to be like a size 6 light strike or size 4 MA series cannons. So you need to have really big guns in order to attack most big ships now. And I think this is a great change because this has really disrupted what has been the ongoing issue within Star Citizen is that light fighters, particularly fighters with size 2 to 3 guns, have just dominated, PvP or dominated, um, you know, uh, fighting engagements. If you're in a large ship or a multi-crew ship, it still hasn't completely fixed things, but they sort of think twice now, or at least if you want to be dedicated to hauling or dedicated to specific activities, um, flying a large ship is no longer such a detriment. You have a lot better defensive capabilities, and as you can see here, again, they have to. They have to be uh, carrying size 4 or size 3 guns and above to do anything. And even with that, it has to be cannons, which they may or may not have, depending on what they are expecting to engage. Another aspect to note is that when you're doing certain content like bunker running or you go into a Faro data center, anywhere where there's a lot of turrets, especially the ones that have attritions, or even the ones in Pyro where they have the Gatling guns, when you're flying a large ship like the Starlancer Max, it can't do anything to you anymore. That is definitely going to possibly be changed in the near future. I assure you that they will rebalance that to have some type of modifier for those bunker turrets. But for the time being, I've done it already where I've landed at a Pharaoh data center or a bounty hunter mission, just got out of the ship with it firing away, and nothing happens. The worst that can happen is that they fire at your weapons once your shields go down and your weapons take damage. They might even be able to fire at your engines, depending on how you angle your ship, and your engines will be damaged, but your ship in itself will be intact. All right, so now that we talked about all those different changes regarding 4.8 and the configuration of the Starlancer Max, this ship is, once again, it's a ship that I don't currently own. I just got it from the rental, and particularly for the content that we're going to be engaging in today, which is just hauling, the only component that really matters to swap out is the quantum drive, which we have done. And now that we have done that, we're going to get into some hauling activities. We're going to try to do some hauling contracts out in Pyro and see how much money we can make. So before we make our way out to Pyro here, I went ahead and thought to myself, we might as well grab one of these interstellar contracts. I'm currently in Stanton. That's going to take us out to Pyro. And I went ahead and grabbed the most lucrative contract that's going to have us grabbing about 32 SCUs worth of ship ammunition, 32 SCUs of hydrogen, 20 SCUs of medical supplies, and doing that all over again. So double that. So 40 SCUs of medical supplies, 64 SCUs of hydrogen, and 64 SCUs of ship ammunition. It's all going to be going to 2 different locations in Pyro. We're going to be grabbing this from the Arcorp mining area here in Stanton. So that's going to be on the Wallum moon. We're going to be taking this contract, go out to Pyro, and hopefully this is going to work properly. And then once we are there, we're going to be grabbing some more contracts to continue our hauling journey. All right, I went ahead and made it to the elevator here, but I had to park my ship a bit further away. There's this Taurus that's taking up pretty much the whole landing pad here. So, and I don't think the owner is here at the moment. I scanned the ship and it said game rules. So we're just going to unload this and load up our ship once we flung all these boxes over there. All right, so we have everything loaded up here. We have all the medical supplies on this side. We have our ship ammunition, and then we have our hydrogen, all 64 SCUs of both. I did find 2 other ship ammunitions. I kind of tossed the boxes and I found that there were other boxes that were in the vicinity where I tossed mine. So I'm not sure if one of these 2 could be mine. Maybe they're not. I'm taking them along with me just in case. I don't want to reach the elevators out in Pyro and find out that I missed something. So they're coming along for the ride. We're going to go ahead and make our way to Pyro, and hopefully we can drop all this stuff off without a hitch. Okay, so we have arrived at Monox here. We are closing in onto our delivery location. The biggest downside about the quantum drive that I've installed is that the cooldown time between jumps is pretty long, but it is pretty nice having that pretty high quantum speed of over 314 kilometers per second. So we get to travel a bit quicker, but we just had to wait a little over 20 seconds in between each jump now. They're pulling up here. There is some hostiles, or at least one hostile. It looks like it's just a NPC ship. Oh, it looks like we got another one. So 2 NPC ships. They most likely can't really do anything to us, and they probably won't do anything to us. All right, it's a pretty laggy area here. We're going to try to go ahead and land next to this elevator here. Looks like this spot is free. I'm going to try to get in and out as quick as possible. I currently don't have any armor on, so I'm going to go ahead and put all my armor and stuff on just in case we run into some shenanigans here. All right, so we just need 10 of these guys. So I'm going to go ahead and get this all loaded up. Okay, we got everything loaded up here. We have 32 SCUs worth of our hydrogen, 32 of the ship ammunition, and 20 of the medical supplies. Let's see if our ship ammunition, yep, that is correct. Let's go ahead and put that down. And once this is complete, we should be able to move on to the next location. There's something buggy about this area. My map keeps glitching, so I want to get out of here as soon as possible. All right, moving on. This thing is so slow. Slow. All right, so we are now at the Pyro 4 planet. We're going to be approaching our final delivery location at Chawla's Beach. Okay, so we have unloaded everything once again. We have the 32 SCUs, ammunition, hydrogen, and 20 SCUs of the medic supplies. We will see whether or not the ammunition that we have grabbed is going to be our ammunition. Let's see. And it is. Nice. And contract complete. 747K went to my account. Awesome. So now I should be able to get rid of this other ammunition that's in here, and we can look at some more available contracts. So underneath the planetary uh, section here, we have quite a few different contracts that are available. I'm really interested in the ones that are paying 301K. These ones, let's see here. We have a direct medium shipment. So we have 100 SUs worth of potassium that we have to collect from Gaslight. We can go ahead and accept that. And let's see if we can do another one here. And another one that is going to be from Gaslight, 137. We'll go ahead and accept this one as well. Sometimes it shows that the accept offer is kind of grayed out here. What you can do is just exit and then try to open up your mobiGlas again. And you might be able to select it again. Okay, yeah, now we can. So with the 200 it's going to be 237 SCUs, which in theory, or actually not even in theory, which should exceed this ship's cargo capacity. However, like I was mentioning a little bit earlier, because we don't have a vehicle here, this entire open area is open to put some cargo off grid as well. And because it's just a planetary contract, we're not going to be traveling that far either. So I don't really expect for cargo to go missing, but we'll be able to see whether or not we'll be able to successfully place all 237 SUs with the cargo in this ship. So let's go ahead and head over to Gaslight and get this stuff loaded up. All right, so we have made it to Gaslight Station here. We're going to go to this elevator and start pulling up the product. We're going to be taking the carbon. We have carbon and potassium that we have to deliver. One contract is going to be for the carbon, and the other one is going to be for the potassium. So it's good that it's separated by cargo type, so I don't have to track things too closely. So we're just going to go ahead and bring up everything all together then. And it looks like the majority of our cargo is going to be 8 SCU boxes, potentially. Yeah. So let's go ahead and fill up our snapped grids with these 8 SCU boxes. The hell is going on? Are you serious? No. What the hell? Wait, what? What is going on in this game right now? What is going on in this game? Oh my, really? Serious? Are you serious? Please, please do not have me go all the way back to New Babbage. This is going to be ridiculous. Okay. Okay. I don't know what happened, but it's all good. We're at Gaslight. You know what? Matter of fact, while we're here, might as well just set our spawn point here, yeah? That'll be prudent of us. Okay, I'm back. It went ahead and stored my ship, so I'm going to have to bring it back up. Hopefully, the cargo is still in there. All right, so it did save my cargo. That's good. So, where were we? I was slinging cargo up and down this evil ramp. All right, so let's do this. Select all shown. Okay, so we have finished loading the Starlancer with all of the cargo. As you can see here, we have all of the bays filled and a little bit of the vehicle cargo area filled with some extra boxes, 4 extra 8 SU boxes to be exact. And then we have the complete middle section filled on both sides. I did not organize them as well as I could have, but they are at least color coded. So we know that the black ones are the potassium and the green ones are the carbon. We're going to go ahead and deliver the potassium first, and then we'll deliver the carbon afterwards. Uh, we have plenty of extra space in here if you wanted to haul a little bit more. Not too much more, but when these missions, they give you sometimes, like you guys have seen, they give you a lot of the bigger boxes, the 8 SCU boxes. And, you know, in theory, this ship can hold 224 on grid, but again, it's split. So you have 8 SCU boxes or 32 SCU boxes, up to 32 SCU boxes that you can place on here. But the other 16 SCU that's missing is only for 1, 2s, and 4s. So depending on the type of boxes that you get, you may, on paper, get a mission where you can carry, 220 something, 230 something SCU, but be prepared to potentially have to utilize some of that vehicle cargo space due to the type of boxes that you can get. All right, so we are arriving at the next delivery location here. I'm going ahead and ping, see if we can find any hostiles or anything. It's pretty dark. And let's look for this transit elevator. I'm not sure whether or not I can't really see one. There's some broken ships laying around. Where is the elevator? All right, maybe I can just try to land over here and it should be okay. Why? Well, that didn't really go as planned. Like I was saying, 4.8 is really buggy right now. So we're just going to go ahead and end it here. But before we end it here, we're going to wrap it up with some final thoughts. The Starlancer Max, it's an okay ship. I would pretty much sum it up as a okay hauler. There's some pretty stiff competition out there when it comes to hauling ships, especially now that the RSI Hermes is in the game now. But as we were discussing earlier with the breakdown, um, the Starlancer Max is in the category of a large ship, and a large ship in the sense that has the very tanky deflection ratings. And so that pretty much puts the Starlancer Max in a category of its own, especially for the price point that you're entering into. The Starlancer Max also is most likely a lot better when you multi crew, when you have friends that are along with you. Um, Loading up and unloading the ship solo is a bit tedious. It's nice that we have over 200 SCUs, or really over 300 SCUs if you are putting stuff off grid. It's great that you have that flexibility. But again, loading that all up by yourself is a bit cumbersome. The ship doesn't have any tractor beams either, which, depending on the situation, a tractor beam is not really all that useful. Let's just be honest. Um, but again, the Starlancer Max, it's it's a ship that I was able to fly for free. Beggars really can't be choosers. Um, Biggest downside is that it is super, super slow. We're talking ridiculous acceleration. Um, One of the slowest ships that I've ever flown. Its greatest strength, it's cheap, real cheap. And for a little over 8 million AUEC, you get yourself a pretty decent cargo ship that is damn near unkillable. And you can't really argue too much with that. So if you're looking for a ship that is cheap, that will get you into that category of super tanky, but also really has quite a bit of versatility. I really love how the cargo bays are kind of separated from the overall cargo area, especially in the back. You can still take some vehicles or other items with you while still having the ability to do cargo hauling, which I think is very helpful. So I think that this ship is really intended to do a little bit more than just cargo hauling. But when we start getting into the category of potentially dogfighting or doing other types of missions and things, its combat potential is probably not as scuffed up as you think it will be. Um, but at least when you're flying solo, you do have some pretty good firepower with those size 4 M6A cannons. And again, because they have revamped all of the weapons in the game, the M6A cannons by default are actually some pretty good cannons to use. You not only do you want to think about a ship's configuration when you upgrade it, but you also want to start thinking about that default loadout, because you might be in situations, hopefully not too long, but you might be in situations where money is tight and you will have to claim the default loadout, and leaning towards ships that have decent configurations by default uh, is going to be very helpful. So it allows you to save some money when you're trying to engage in certain content. So yeah, um, I would pretty much sum it up. Overall, the Starlancer Max, uh, if you're really looking into buying it, it's a decent ship. It's not amazing. It's decent. It's a decent cargo ship that allows you to engage in a wide variety of content. You just have to be okay with its downsides, and the downside mainly is that it is super duper slow. Um, yeah, up, update that quantum drive um, immediately. I think that's the only thing that you really need to focus on if you're only looking to utilize the ship as a cargo ship, which it's designed for. And other than that, Do with it as you will. If you're looking to do a little bit more with it, you have plenty of extra cargo space to load up some type of vehicle, a NERSA, and engage in other content. Do some bunker running, do some data centers. You'll appreciate its tankiness in that regard. But anyway, um, I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Please give it a like, share, comment. Let me know your guys' thoughts. Are you in the market for a Starlancer Max? Or are you kind of holding out for something that's going to be a bit more useful? Maybe a Hermes, maybe a Caterpillar, maybe really just anything. Me personally, I'm really looking forward to getting enough money to get my C2 back. Uh, but let me know what you guys' thoughts are. Until next time, stay safe out there, in peace. I really want my C2 back.